Hey, Stacy!
88. How are you, Michael?
Episode 88. There are so many connections with this number.
Really?
There are. Let's start off with the obvious. When you have a flux capacitor and a DeLorean and a crazy scientist
Yes.
and the star of Family Ties, how fast does that DeLorean have to go back to the future?
Yes, so good. Such
88 miles an hour, right?
88, right. God, I forgot that. That's so true. Yes.
You know,
88.
right now I can almost hear Huey Lewis in the news playing, You don't need money, you don't need class. I don't know the words, but I could just hear Huey Lewis playing right now.
So awesome.
Maybe we can get away with that, just playing it very quietly in the background.
A little bit in the back. That's
all right.
I can do.
So we, talk to somebody on the YouTube, will you? Can't you grease the palms a little bit down there?
All my connections, sure.
Stacy, what was happening in 1988 in Stallone's life?
Rambo 3.
Oh,
Awesome.
right? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is Rambo 3. Now, all right, let's get real for a 10th of a second. Some of the Rambo fans feel Rambo 3 was the weakest of all the Rambo films. I don't. I enjoyed Rambo 3. Rambo 3 had a lot of production issues from the director to some background issues. I understand why some fans see, you're coming off First Blood.
Right.
And you're coming off Rambo 2. Now, there's a little bigger reason we're going to get to with our guest today, why we're going to hammer Rambo in a moment. I mean, not hammer Rambo. I mean, talk about Rambo.
Right.
Put it on the forefront because it is the Rocky Files. But today, it's the Rambo Forest. Okay. So,
right. Okay.
So it's impossible to top First Blood. It's impossible to top Rambo First Blood Part 2. They are equal. They are different type of animals in their own right. They are both equally amazing and blow your mind at the back of the theater. But Rambo 3 took it to a level that was so almost Superman-ish.
Right.
Right. Like it was just Rambo could do no wrong.
Right. Like nobody could catch him.
Nobody could. And Stallone was built like a berserker.
Yeah.
A berserker. If you don't know what a Google Swedish berserkers, that's how Sly was built. That's a real thing. So the thing with Rambo 3 that I love was the intensity. This was right after Sly had gone through the separation and divorce with Bridget Nielsen, and he was in a particular state of mind, and he just wanted whether he wanted to beat his
destroy the world.
Yes, right. There's a great story Sly had told in an interview. I don't know if any of you watching right now will remember this. He had taken a 35-pound dumbbell when he had found out certain particulars about his marriage and Bridget Nielsen. And he had a dining room table with, I don't know if it was oak. I'm not quite sure what it was, but it had Bridget Nielsen's likeness etched into the table. And he had taken a 35-pound dumbbell and he had busted and smashed this table. Okay. Think of that image. Rocky, Rambo, Cosmo Carboni doing this to the table.
All at once.
All at once. So Sly was in a particular mood going to Israel to film this film and then back to Arizona. Anyways, Stacy, what's your thoughts on Rambo 3?
Well, wasn't that the one that was the highest count, the highest body count?
Highest body count? Yes, it was.
Yes.
So, at the time, yes, it was.
Yeah. So number one, I don't know the Rambos the way I know Rocky, I have to admit. But I too much shoot 'em up to me, it loses me,
Okay.
So I was certainly much more engaged in 1 and 2, and 3. Like you said, that was perfect. It's more Superman. Like there's no way somebody's going to escape all those bullets. That's
Don't
just
you
not
love?
happening.
Don't you love the entire Russian army? All they
Yeah.
do is train. They shoot and they hit their targets. Not one
Yes.
bullet hits him, right?
Right.
Even 3/4 of the way through the movie, when he has a piece of wood that goes through his side, he has to break it off, and then he has to put the
That is
powder
so, yes.
from the bullet.
And he cauterizes himself.
Yeah, right. He cauterizes himself. So it is so over the top.
Yes.
So it was moments like that where people go, "Oh my God,
Oh my
that
God.
ain't real."
Hey, that's why we love Hollywood. We can make it whatever we want.
But Rambo falling from a cliff into a tree, now that's some real action right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Didn't
not,
he do that?
not,
Was
yes,
that him?
Yes.
Was that him? He did that himself.
I believe it was Buddy Joe Hooker, who was the stuntman, who fell. So there is the long fall that they do. So like there is like I don't know the distance. I'm assuming it was somewhere between 30 and 50 feet from the top cliff where Rambo is, and he goes into the creek. That tree, that is Buddy Joe Hooker. I think Buddy Joe Hooker is the stuntman that did it. Then Sly, actually, I don't know if Sly jumped from the cliff. I doubt it. I doubt that he jumped from the cliff like 2 feet above the tree, or if he was already in the tree. I don't know. I haven't asked him that because I don't like to burn a question. I like to ask him the Rocky stuff, but maybe I'll ask him for clarification on that. But anyways, whether he jumps 2 feet above the tree or he's in the tree falling, either way, that is Sylvester Stallone falling from branch to branch. And he did not expect to break a rib. So he breaks a rib while he falls, okay?
I remember that.
Yeah. And he goes to the hospital. They take him, so he falls at the base of the tree. Ah! And he's screaming, and he's, and so he goes to the hospital because obviously he's got a broken rib. And he kept the device, the little ball with the tube. It's a little plastic ball that has blood in it. And there's just a little tube that comes out. So he puts the ball underneath between his armpit, and he's got the scar already. So when he's falling through the tree, you can, if you pause it on Blu-ray, you can actually see the scar in the blood before he screams where the branch rips his arm. And he goes to the hospital, and he has this on there, and Sylvester Stallone is an actor, and he's a damn fine actor. So he's just messing with the people. He's there for a cracked rib, but he has the nurse believing this cut is real. So the tube is the back of the tricep underneath, and he squeezes he flexes his pec and his bicep, and that squeezes the blood. So when we see him taking the needle and thread and he's ready to sew it up, he's doing that in the hospital emergency room. And the nurse is going, "Oh my God, oh Jesus, you must be the strongest, toughest guy in the world." He goes, "Give me some ibuprofen, I'll get back to the set." And so really he was in dire pain from the ribs, but that's Sly, right? And could you imagine, just think about being the on-call doctor or nurse in the ER in Hope, British Columbia, and Stallone comes through. But he's done up as Rambo, but nobody knows Rambo. Rambo hasn't happened yet, right? They're filming it. And then, like 10 months later, you're sitting in a theater in Hope, and you're watching the scene where it all happens, and you go, "That son of a bitch," right? Could you imagine that? That's
I wish
incredible.
we could find the nurse. Oh my gosh, we should put on an APB for her.
You know what? You know what I will do? I'll call my friend Brian McKinney. Brian McKinney, he actually runs the Visitors Bureau up in Hope, and it's all Rambo, First Blood up there. And so I'll ask him if he knows who that might have been or anyone involved in that moment that we could get to come on. As a matter of fact, we got to bring Brian McKinney on, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Brian he's like the brains behind Rambo up there in Hope, British Columbia. Anyways, I'm getting way far off the subject. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's Rambo 3. It's 1988. We're obligated this episode.
I'll tell you what was going on in my life. What was going on in your life in 1988?
88. Gosh, what was I? I was in 10th grade in 88, 89.
Okay.
Or was I in 9th grade? I started 10th grade, and I was at do I say it out loud? I was at a Catholic school in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Okay.
That I couldn't wait to get out of. That was a long year. That was my sophomore
Really?
year. Yeah, I was very happy to leave there. Not a nice group of girls.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
ready to go.
Wow. Okay. Did you want to go Rambo on these girls?
Yes. Very much so.
Stacy's like in the girls' locker room or bathroom, and she's just like, she like tears a piece of her skirt, ties it around, right? Putting like dark under her eyes, and she's stalking the yeah, right, exactly. So 88, you're in a Catholic school, 88. Yeah. What's your life like at that point? Are you dating? You know, what's going on?
No, I wasn't really dating anyone until my senior year of high school. There was a lot of drama in there, and I know I've said in past episodes, I was real good at fading myself to the back just to avoid the fray, and I just did even more of that year.
You were like wallpaper. You just blended.
They were there. I mean, I was never the center of anything because I made sure of it, but they were just terrible to each other. The meanest group of girls. And funny little story. I remember there was a new girl. She came, she turned and she looked at me and she said, "Do you like it here?" And I told her the truth. I got called to the principal's office.
Jesus.
And she wanted to know. She's like, "Did you say this to this potential new student? Did you say that?" I was like, "Yes, I did." I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "These are the meanest group of girls I've ever met." And I wasn't going to lie to her. And the principal just looked at me. I'm like, "Oh God, I'm in so much trouble." She was like, "Oh, okay." And she just let me go. Like I wasn't rude or anything. I was just like, I said, I don't like it here. These are the meanest women ever." Needless to say, I went to another school for my junior and senior year.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I did. So
wow.
Didn't go back. I'm sure they were happy with that.
You know, they're probably in a cold running water trailer.
Yeah, hopefully.
In some park up there in the New England states somewhere. Probably eating Kentucky Fried Chicken is considered a classical night out for them.
Yeah, no, they're just hopefully everybody grew up at some point, but back then they were.
Some don't. So in 1988, so I had realized in 1988 that girls like found me like disinteresting. Like there was nothing about me I could offer to get a girlfriend. So I had decided at that point to hang up the hat and the coat my grandfather had given me that I had been wearing. I'd been bouncing a ball around. It wasn't even a black, like seamless 555. It was like a tennis ball. Like it was just, I was just off. I was slightly off. And so I hung it up and then I said, what's working here? And what are girls like about guys? What are guys dressing like? And again, it was the, late 80s. The long hair was in. And then I saw a little movie called Rambo III.
Right.
Rambo 3. And I said, "Oh my God, look at Sly's hair. Jesus. That's amazing." So I instructed my hairstylist, Ray Surge, to give me this type of perm with these purple perm rods. And I mean, you have to understand, Stacy, my hair, like now my hair is thick and a little wavy, right? Like even though I'm losing it and it's going back, I still, it's still a decent head of hair. At the time, my hair was poker straight. I don't even know what happened. It was like something like I walked next to. It's strange because at that age, I was what 20 years old, and so at that age, you pretty much have the hair you're gonna have, the type of hair. And so I don't know if it was from all the chemicals from the perms that I had been getting, but eventually my hair would do this, and I'm like, okay, it's like walking next to a nuclear power plant. It's like you don't know what's gonna happen, but right now let's go with it, right? So my hair started getting really long, and most girls ran away. Most girls didn't want anything to do with me. And then I was in Burger King's parking lot, and though this story differs, if we ever get Sue back on here, we can argue with her. We'll verbally arm wrestle on this point.
It's really true.
What's really true, but like, listen, it's true. All right. So she had pulled up in this car filled with girls, and I was with my friend Joe in his 72 Plymouth Valari. The color of the car was like urine and rust. Nobody wanted to be caught dead in this car. Yeah, nobody wanted to be caught dead in this car. And Bon Jovi's playing. And so my buddy and Sue start giggling because she's driving. Sue says she wasn't driving, but she was. And anyways, my buddy says, hey, Mike, this is my cousin Sue. Sue, this is my best friend Mike. And when we looked at each other, it was like someone drew back a bow, Cupid slamming
Aw.
2 arrows into us. And I thought, holy Jesus, this girl, she had these big blue eyes, these massive eyes. She had this chestnut wall of hair. She had these high cheekbones and this gorgeous nose. And I thought, there's no way that is going to date me. Yeah, but she was really shy. Like, she's not that anymore.
Right.
She hasn't been for several decades. Okay. She goes into a bar, sailors run out. I mean,
good for her. I love it.
Yeah. She takes no prisoners. And anyways, so that was me in 1988. We had gone to a place called Terry's Diner, and I said, you know, why did you go on this date? Most girls go the other way with me. And she goes, oh, it was your hair. She goes, Rambo is like First Blood is my favorite movie. I go, wow. Really?
Nice.
And then she said, Rocky 2 is my other favorite Stallone movie. I go, both had longer hair. See, this long hair thing
works.
It did. So that was basically, well, that would be not 88. I'm sorry. 88 is when I started thinking about Rambo, when I started growing my hair long, but it was actually 89 when I met Sue. I just remember that right now because she's going to watch this because my brother's on today. So she's going to watch this. She goes, what are you talking about? It was 89 September, fool. So she will have already corrected me, and now she will see this part, and she'll see I was able to correct myself.
So there.
Anyway, yeah. So there.
Like totally.
Stacy, before we move on to an event that was going on this past Thursday, which was one of the most wonderful events I've been part of.
Yeah.
Is there anything else pertinent that we didn't get a chance to go over in our pre-show ramble?
No, we're gonna go right onto the MANN Center. Right. I got nothing.
We're gonna go right on to the MANN Center. Okay. So a few months back, the MANN Center reached out to my manager, Chris Wiseman, and said, hey, we might be interested in coming out doing a Rocky thing here for our end of the season, showing Rocky up on the screen with a live orchestra, the Baltimore Orchestra. And this is something I've been wanting. I was well aware of this. During COVID, this started making the rounds around the world, okay? I had friends in Germany who had gone to it fairly recently, and even back during COVID. Here in Philly, oh, excuse me, I keep burping. That's horrible. Here in Philly, it got canceled because of COVID several times. Right. I had bought tickets to it. Tickets were a couple $100 at the time, and I thought, but this is something I want to be part of. So when I get this email from my manager, Chris, I was like, Chris, I'll do this for nothing. I don't care. You know, I said, if you can get me a payday, great. But if you can't, I just want to be part of this. There's going to be thousands of Rocky fans coming to the MANN Center. Now, the MANN Center is a amphitheater, essentially, with a roof on it. Okay. But it's really open on the sides and in the back, but it's beautiful. And then there's a hill that surrounds it. It's a high hill, which I think those seats are like $5 a seat or something. And so you can come with a blanket or a chair or whatever with the kids, and you could just watch on the big screen as the live orchestra plays. And so I get the call. They reach out to Chris, and they said, you know, we'd love for Mike to be part. We've watched Mike's career. We know who he is. And we'd love for him to be part. And I'm like, wow, like this is great for me to interact with all these Rocky fans. Yes. Are you kidding me? This is brilliant. Okay. So then Chris is ready. He goes, yeah, I don't think the man has any money to pay you. He goes, there's nothing to pay your normal fee. I go, Chris, I don't care. I really don't care. I said, can they get me like a dressing room, like something with because I had 2 tours that day. I had already booked, because I booked so far in advance. I had 2 tours. And so for 4 hours a day, 8 hours a day, I'm talking about Rocky and myself all day. And But I'm so excited for that. I'm like, I don't care. I want this. And he goes, let me see what I can do. And he goes, Mike, how about they give us a bunch of tickets to give out to friends and family? And he goes, that'll be your payment. And they'll give you a room with, shower and so on. I go, great. I go, this is fantastic. So the lady, I think her name was Jen, and I apologize if I have that wrong. They give me a pass to go to the parking lot for the people who work there, which is like right in back. So when you leave, there are 2,000 people waiting to get out, and you get this little parking spot that you can get out ahead of everybody else first.
Nice.
Which anyone who's been to a concert, a baseball game, you can appreciate that, right?
Yeah, because murder otherwise, right?
Murder.
Yeah.
So I show up and I've got my tour t-shirt on. I put my fedora on so people would say, oh, this must be the Rocky guy, because I never think people are going to recognize me. So carrying my bag. And so she comes out and meet me and we go in, and I'm right next to my dressing room is right next to the maestro. So right away, I go to Seinfeld, the maestro.
Yeah.
You remember who the maestro was? He was the guy from the Twisted Sister videos when he was the father who told the kid he couldn't listen to the music.
Yes.
You defile the musical concept. He had that. He was in Animal House, right? He was.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do find a picture of him, please drop it in here from Seinfeld as he's the conductor, okay?
Right.
So the maestro, and he had to be referred to as the maestro on Seinfeld. Anyways, I hear the maestro of the Baltimore Symphony talking to another handler, okay? And he's really cool. He's nothing like the Seinfeld maestro. And I just stuck my head out and I saw him there, but he goes back in. But as I look at the door, I see my name is printed on a piece of 8x10 paper on a door, Mike Kunda. So I take a quick little picture of it. I think I sent it to you. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but if I did, okay, I'll send it to you right here.
Here.
Oh, look at that. There I am. Look at that. I will send that to you. And I thought, of all my gigs, I've never had a green room where I actually had my name. It was just a dress for me. Right, and it had a shower and a bathroom. It had everything in it. And I sat there on the couch. I had my big bag, right? I set it down, and there was the mirror there with the big balls around the mirror, like a Broadway behind the stage. You put the makeup and all that. And I thought, my God, Mike, look at you.
Moving on up.
Moving on up. And I thought, this is okay. Yes. They're not paying you for this, but you've been included. You've been asked.
And that's more important sometimes.
Way more important.
Yes. Yep.
Way more important. So get myself together, and now my brother starts messaging me. So him and his wife, Debbie, they had come down. And I always feel, at first, I feel a little weird about asking family to come. Because I feel like I talk too much about Rocky, which I know I do. Right. And I feel sometimes people in my family will go, oh, God. Okay, Mike. Enough of the Rocky. But Sue always tells me, look, this is your thing. Nobody knows you better than your family. They understand this is it. This is your bank to deal from. So I kind of got past that, and I said, I said to my brother, I said, would you be interested in coming down? Turns out him and his wife Debbie were on vacation, and it worked out. And they're gonna stay over at the house. It was great. Like it was one of the best experiences I've had in my life. So, I take a fast shower. I get myself together, right? I'm all like excited. And the lady, this Jenna, she comes and gets me, and we're talking, and we go upstairs. I got the leather on, I've got the fedora, and we were walking around, and all of a sudden she's explaining me what they expect of me and what they like. And the event just started letting people in. Okay. And I see about 50, 60 feet away from me, my brother in this awesome blue blazer with his camera, with his phone, and he's taking videos and pictures. And so I lean into this lady, and I go, you see this guy over here? I said, he's trouble. You got to keep security on this guy. And so she goes, oh my God, is he bad? And I go, no. So I went down and started talking to him, and I could not. There was an overwhelming sense of gratitude that he
Oh.
was there. I
Mhm.
and this weird thing happens to me. I start to go into everyday like chatter, like nervous chatter
Yeah,
to
yeah.
break the ice. And I'm thinking to
Mhm.
myself, as I'm nervous to talk to my brother, I'm thinking to myself, it's your brother. Why are you nervous? Because it's very rare we get to see each other doing our thing at work.
Oh, I see. Mhm,
Okay.
mhm, mhm.
And so all my brother has, and again, I want to ask him about this. So hopefully we'll get to this when we bring him on in just a moment.
Mhm, mhm.
Uh, I He was there from day one
Right.
of my Rocky gigs. There
Mhm.
was a series of circumstances that happened, and I don't want to say anything right now, but he was there from the very first day, and he started taking pictures. And so all of this is going through my mind. And I said, this was like 10, 11 years, 12, 13 years ago, maybe longer. And he's there now. And now I'm this accomplished professional in this Rocky bubble where
Yep.
these businesses are bringing me in. And I still feel like I need to do something special for my brother to impress him like I'm doing okay. And
Yeah.
because I think everyone looks at this, and this is me. This is my baggage. And
Mhm.
Sue will probably be sitting right there next to me. Okay. She will be probably saying, what is wrong with you? But this is the insecurity that I
Yeah.
have.
Mm.
I just think people don't get it,
Mhm.
what I do, that
Mhm.
it's so silly. And it is to I get it that it's kind of silly, but in the Rocky bubble, it's profound.
Yeah. Very significant. Mhm.
And then my sister-in-law came down and Sue came down, right? And they're all watching for a little while. And Sue goes, oh God, I've seen him do this 1,000 times.
Right.
You guys enjoy. She goes, you guys enjoy it. She goes, my back's killing me. I'm going to go sit in the seat and, make sure nobody steals our seats. And, okay.
Right.
And so Debbie and Jay are literally following me around. And they're like, I see the look on their faces. And my sister-in-law, Debbie, is so sweet. There are people who are intimidated to come up to me to take a picture. Stacy, this is the weirdest thing in the world. In my mind, I'm little Mikey Kunda, 11 years old from Scranton, Pennsylvania, who just come on, let's take a picture. And she tells people, oh, no, it's for free. Don't worry about it. Come on, we'll take a picture. Give me your camera. And she starts banging out pictures. And my brother starts banging out pictures and videos. Like, it was crazy. And then the crowd started coming through. And then it became, it was like in that moment, it was like a Bon Jovi, Springsteen, Kiss, Stallone thing. It's like people for one moment, they forget Rocky is fictitious.
Right.
When they see me come over by the main gate or walk the crowd or whatever, they will see, they go crazy. And I don't know, maybe Jay might even have some videos that he could send you, because I don't think he sent you those videos of the crowds interacting with me and what it's like. Okay,
I didn't have that.
So what we'll do is we'll throw that in here so you guys can see what it's like from his POV.
It's a big action on his pocket. When Jersey came around, didn't even have time to eat.
That was crazy.
Yeah. And
I want to get in the picture with me here. Come on. Come on, get over here.
Come on.
Get on this side. Come on over here. You got great glasses. Where are you going? Come on.
I was going to
Go. Come on. The whole night was absolutely remarkable. And Jay had to go and Debbie had to find their seats. Oh no, before that, we had to go up these steps. There was like 76 or 78 steps, this top of the hill. And that's where my brother took this picture right here with the city of Philadelphia in the background. Look at that.
Yes.
My brother. Now, you could see down at the bottom, you could see the white gates, the metal gates, okay? Then you see the white tents. So that was the area I was walking in front of the white tents. There was like food and drinks and so on. But they had me up there. And
so awesome.
When I looked over my shoulder, like I didn't see my brother for a few moments. And then I think he was right there. He was right there having my back, off to the side. I caught him in the peripheral, and he was watching it all take place and whatever we were doing up there for promotional pictures. And he said, Mike, now get over there and take pictures. I said to my brother, why are you taking pictures? In my mind, I said it. Why are you taking pictures? Come on, are you stupid? And I thought to myself, oh, my brother's taking pictures because I think he's kind of excited. I think he's kind of proud of me.
Yeah.
And I got so emotional right there at that moment, thinking, part of my family, your mom and dad's back home, but part of my family is here. They're right here with me. And I thought, oh my God, I must be the luckiest guy in the world to be able to do this with loving family around. So anyways, we go into the MANN Center. I see Sue, give her a kiss, and I explain what's going on. She saw me walking up the steps. She saw a lot was going on. And all of a sudden, people were coming over to me that had been following me on social media, that watched the podcast. People I had no idea did this, right? Oh, I see the Rocky Files. I see you on Instagram. Oh my God, we're going to take your tour. I had about 10 people come up to me that said, oh, we booked your tour in November. We booked your tour in October, December. We're going to see you in 3 weeks. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Anyways, we make our way to our seats, and I'm just sitting there, and I am sweating. I'd gone back to the room. I'd taken a shower again, got cleaned up, put fresh clothes on, come back up, carrying my big duffel bag. I have like a white towel for sweat to dab my sweat. And I sit down, and I'm starting to take the moment in. Now, right here, Stacy, throw up any one of the videos.
Okay.
Anyone that shows, if you can discern whether it's the beginning of the movie or whatever.
First, I'm just going to do this one real quick. It just shows the theater. I mean, I can't get over how
huge
that is. And then, so I'm watching these videos, the effect of adding the music live.
Oh my God.
It was awesome. So this is a short one. This is 22 seconds.
Okay.
I just love the real-time reaction.
I want to talk about that for a minute, and I also want to get Jason's thoughts on this too when he chimes, when we get him in here. So, it's been a long time since I watched Rocky with a crowd of people. It's been a very, very long time.
Right.
I watch Rocky weekly here in my Rocky room, and I forget how people feel and express themselves during it. And Sue and I she was sitting next to me, and Debbie was on my left, and so I'm listening to people laugh at times where I don't laugh. You see, when I watch this movie, it's like Jesus has come up, God has come off the mountain. Okay, it's Moses is carrying the 10 commandments,
the tablets. Yes.
I don't laugh. I don't giggle like Paulie. Look at go instead of my freaking life. I no longer laugh at these things or chuckle because it's like I'm in the Rocky
sacred. Yes.
Sacred.
Yeah.
Sacred. And I started hearing people like when they were groaning and moaning, oh my God, the raw eggs. And I go, wait a minute. There's a whole part of this that I forget about. People acting differently, interacting with this movie, and the way the orchestra will key up the music. Do we have anything with the music really playing well? Okay, go ahead. Throw something up.
Here we go. I was watching that. I was getting emotional when you sent it to me.
Ooh.
It somehow had a whole different quality when you had that live music.
Live music and the live crowd, and you start
Yes.
because you're feeling it. Even right now, the tears are right on the verge right now.
Yeah.
I could feel the swelling of the emotions in that moment. I have seen Rocky
A million
600-700 times. Yes.
Yeah.
Of those hundreds and hundreds of times, has been alone.
Mhm.
And oh man, I really feel it right now. And so watching it with everyone, hearing that music, I was like, oh my God, it was almost, not quite, but almost like seeing it for the first time again.
First time.
I was like, holy shit, this is a profound moment. My jaw was hanging open. And the thought I had watching that, there were several scenes that I had recorded like that. And I said to myself, I gotta send these to Sly. He has to see this. I don't know that Sly has ever seen a crowd reaction with a live orchestra like this before.
Right.
And then I thought, I don't know, maybe he'll see it on here. Maybe I'll send it to him. I don't know. But it was very, very profound for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very difficult time speaking during the movie. I was awestruck, gobsmacked.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
Yeah.
was.
I know. I get it. You could, I don't know, it filled the room somehow differently than just a straight theatrical play with nothing live happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Stacy, before we bring our guest in, before we bring in the best Kunda of all,
Aw.
why don't we throw up a couple of family pictures?
Sure.
Let's take a look, just wherever you start, and I'll kind of talk about it until we go to the next one. Okay, here I am doing my best Robert De Niro as Sue is squeezing my shoulder saying, you look like an idiot. There's Jay hanging there. This is clearly St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
All right. Debbie's got her arms around Jay. Sue's right behind me. That is Carlene. She is one of Jason's coworkers, and she's one of the loveliest, kindest people. And she's been kind of an honorary Kunda. And then you see my mom, so cute and adorable, hiding behind my dad.
Right.
Right.
Tucked away. Right.
And this is part of Jay's pub. Now, I want to take one note of artistic de jour de vivre.
Okay.
Look at the stained glass windows.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Debbie did those.
Really?
Yeah, she's unbelievable.
Oh my! I did stained glass in high school.
Did you really?
Gosh, I did. So I know how long that took her. Oh
yeah, she's incredible. She's incredible. All right, what else we got?
Beautiful. All right, then this is the pub as well. Yeah, same day.
No, this is another St. Patrick. Or is
okay.
The same? No, you're right. You're right. This is the same St. Patrick's Day. I forget because they all blur together. There we go. That's on a mom and dad's back porch.
Nice.
This is a photo that we have done every year. So you'll see next to my dad's left. That's my cousin Lynn. Mm-hmm. Lynn is the closest thing to a sibling, a sister that I have.
Oh, nice.
I always thought I would become a much better human if I had a sister. And so Lynn, my cousin Lynn, is probably the closest thing. To her left is her husband, Gib, who I love. He is a wacky, zany part of our family. Obviously, Sue, me wearing my Ted Lasso Believe shirt. Yep. There is Debbie, mom, and there's Jay with his readers hanging around his neck.
Oh gosh, it's so cute. I love you guys. I just love these family pictures. Okay, this is Christmas. It's gotta be Christmas.
I think this is Christmas Eve. I'm guessing by the size of my head.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my head there, and I'm thinking, I think it's Christmas Eve. I could be wrong. So when Jay comes on, maybe. Oh no. This might have been President's Day weekend. I think that's what it is. My mother and father's birthday are both in February, so we celebrate them around President's Day. I think that's what this is. So yeah, that's us there.
Then we have this with your dad. Look at that tabletop.
Yeah, Jay made that.
Yeah, Yeah, that's
Yeah. So
because we have the before picture of that, right?
yeah, no, that's another table that made specifically for
Okay.
my dad. So this is my dad discussing with Franklin Delano Roosevelt in the chair. My dad sees Franklin Delano Roosevelt in the chair. We all do not, and we don't know what's wrong with that. Okay.
Love it.
Sorry, Dad. I had to pick on you a little.
Oh gosh, let's see.
Here we are.
Last Christmas.
Okay, so this is last Christmas. We have a little tradition with the four of us for the last 6,000 years. We go over to Jay's house and we have a bunch. We have probably 4 or 5 magnums of champagne, and man, do we get stupid. There is going to be an epic video we have filmed. We do my brother puts together a family video every year documenting our family, where we are, and so on. So my brother, you will notice 2 Christmas trees.
Oh, look at that.
Yes, this is not because of my brother. My brother is not anti-Christmas. He's just, I don't know. He's like in the middle. Debbie wanted to do 2 Christmas trees. Nice. All right. So she put those 2, and I mean, just beautiful. Anyways, this is just a little moment at that point. All right. Is our guest here?
He is here. He's ready to go.
Let's bring in this handsome son of a bitch.
Hang on. Hey, Jason.
Hey, yo.
Nice.
How's it going?
Hello, brother.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm your older brother, Mike.
I'm your older brother. I was back. Wasn't the way I wanted it, Mike.
That's the way I wanted it.
Stacy, that is from The Godfather.
Okay.
Where Fredo in Godfather 2, which I hear is a okay movie. So Fredo, he had gone against Michael and tried to take him out and everything. Right. And of course, Michael knows all of this. And Fredo is the older brother. And of course, Michael, the younger brother, is much smarter, much more intelligent. And I always felt my brother, and this is a good place to start. I always felt my brother was the Michael Corleone of the family.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to embarrass Jay a little bit here. So Jay he's the only one of the Kundas that went to college, number one. So that's one. I'm so impressed with that. But Jay, even though Jay's 5 years younger, he's almost 5 years more mature than I am. I had like a stunted growth mental cycle at some point. And Jay is someone that I admire incredibly. He is someone that he doesn't take he takes compliments like I do. Okay. He's a little shy.
They're not well. Yes.
Yeah, well, here's the part that I love though.
Go ahead.
People come up to me every now and then. People come up to me and they say, "Now he's younger than you, right?" I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Like, come on."
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, but see, they sense my immaturity. That there's a thing, there's an issue. That's a problem I've had. I don't know what it is. And Sue's tried to beat it out of me with bricks, and it just doesn't work. I don't know. I don't know. All right. So listen, we're gonna get into a whole bunch of stuff here, but I want to start off with how you're dressed. That's the first thing I want to address. My brother is the Rambo of the family. There's no doubt, is it? Jay, for you, what is it about Rambo that pulls you in?
Yeah.
Gritty.
Gritty. Great.
Wow, answer. I didn't know that.
First Blood, especially. I mean, and everything, all of my likes in life, the Rolling Stones, my favorite songs are their gritty ones,
nice.
And so I'm attracted to that. I don't live a life that way.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Like when the Stones sing about drugs, I love that the most. When Stallone is shooting up the town, I love it when he's doing it because it's just such I think my like about it is it's the escape from reality. Same thing with Expendables. It's shoot 'em up. Yes, it's a lot, but it takes me away from life, takes me away from the phone, takes me away from everything, whatever's going on in my life, work, whatever, forgotten. For that hour and a half, 2 hours, forgotten.
You know, Jay, I never realized that. See, Stacy, again, here is the thing. My brother and I have great conversations, and the one thing that we have several things, obviously, but the one thing that bonds us incredibly is our sense of humor. It's the thing our parents love about us so much is the way we make each other laugh. I mean, that I'll tell you what, that it will take you to another level if you come to a dinner at our house, which, by the way, is an open invitation, by the way.
Thank you. Oh, that would be a ton of fun. Absolutely.
So the Expendables, wow, that is the deal with Rambo and the Expendables. That's interesting. That really is.
Well, those are the most visceral scenes, you know. I think it's interesting that, you know, he's exuding the most passion or anger or, you know, that's
right.
Yeah, and we do so much holding back. It's kind of nice to live through that with someone on the screen.
Yeah, and I think, Jay, I think you would agree. I think your profession, I think your nature is about holding back.
Right.
Yeah.
We all.
I would agree with that. So, of all the Rambos, what is your go-to?
Oh, First Blood. I mean, you know, and they all have a special part in my life and in my history. Growing up, you guys were talking about Rambo 3. Now, what I loved about Rambo 3 was the opening scene where there was music. I think it was a really intense drums and
the stick fight.
Stick fighting. No,
yes.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched it, but when that music was playing, I was 15 in '88. I used to run down around the track down at our local middle school, and I'd have a good old-fashioned Walkman on.
Ah, yes.
Right? We all had them.
Oh, yeah.
I would play that as loud as I could, and I'd go from jogging to just sprinting.
Really?
Right.
So you would,
3,
So what you would play? What, the soundtrack of Rambo 3 in your mind, or and it would just inspire you to just hit that high sprint down the track. Wow.
Right. That especially that one scene in the beginning. But then you go back now to Rambo 2. That was '85, and one of my fond memories of Rambo 2 was when my godfather, his nickname was Yai, and everybody called him Yai. Hey, Yai. He was retired, and he lived in he was a tenant, one of my dad's tenants in his home, and we went to see Rambo, and I remember I knew what scene was coming. I knew what language was coming when Rambo grips the mic right before he goes wild and starts beating everybody. What he says, and then I was thinking, because what's Yai's reaction going to be like? And I was a kid, and he was an older man, much older, and he just goes in his typical Yai laugh. He goes, his giggle. It was great, and I thought, Yai likes this scene. This is because it's such a great scene, And,
all right, let's see. Now we have a lot of questions for you, and some of them are, we want to know how Jason feels about Rocky and all Rocky things, and there are some questions that they want you to tattle on Mike. So, on just a couple things. So,
bastards.
I was going to go through a few things. Actually, the first one is just from my daughter. How was growing up with Mike as a big brother? What was that like, watching him become him?
Well, Mike always took care of me. He always made sure I was safe. And my earliest memories in kindergarten, we went to school probably about 100 feet, grade school, about 100, maybe 200 feet away from our house.
Yeah.
So all we had to do was cut through a supermarket parking lot, and there we were at our grade school. So I think Mike was probably in 5th grade at that point when I was in kindergarten, and Mike always got me to my kindergarten class safe and sound, because I was in morning kindergarten, and he no matter if we fought on our way there or not, he always made sure I was safe, and that just continued throughout the years. And so, because I was in morning kindergarten, I would come home, and my mom would always make sure I would get my afternoon nap. And so I couldn't, I still can never take a nap. But see, I couldn't wait to see Mike come home to cut through the parking lot from school, because he'd get out around 2:30. So I think I just I wasn't able to sleep. So I remember looking out my window. Where's Mike? Is he coming? Where's my big brother? Where is he? Where is he? Right? Well, the son of a bitch would rat me out and tell my mom, and then she'd come up here and say, "Jason, get back to sleep." I mean, I couldn't win.
You see,
nice, Michael.
You see, this is brothers. The little tiny things like that with brothers. Yeah, and it's so. But just think about the importance my mother put on a nap, right?
Right.
That has followed my mother through her life. There is a value on a nap my mother appreciates that she put on us at a very young age. And no, I never knew that, Jay. I never really realized that you would look out the window. I don't, or no, obviously I did, but I think I forgot. I think I forgot.
Yeah, because I remember you would say, "Mom, he's looking out the window," and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna catch hell." but
that is funny.
Sometimes she'd come up and say, "Get back to sleep."
You're right, exactly.
One of my questions, like when you're kids, because this is actually for both of you, something that drove you crazy about the other when you were kids, but now that you're both adults, that you appreciate, that you're like, gee, maybe I could learn a little bit about this or that used to drive me crazy, but now I understand it more now. I want Jason to answer that and then Mike to answer that.
Oh, geez, I would suppose there's a whole bunch of things that I could say about that, but one of the things I noticed as we started to get older and more mature is I think the thing that stands out most is that Mike and I, well, first of all, we're two different personalities. We're totally different. I'm a behind the scenes kind of guy. I'm more introverted. That's just by nature. Mike is definitely more extroverted. He's the kind of guy you want to have next to you at a party because he can start up conversation.
Right.
Me, my wife, we do not start up conversation well. Same thing with our friends Joe and Aaron. We need them at a party so they can strike up a conversation.
Got it.
And so, but that aside, I started noticing differences as probably once our brains start really maturing, mid-20s, early 30s. That's when I started noticing that it's okay to appreciate the things you didn't used to like, particularly about Mike or whatever that was. It's silly stuff. And now you're just more patient with it, more understanding. And if anything, you say, well, that's who he is. I mean, he's hardwired that way from birth, the same way we all are.
Yeah.
And so it's not until then. And see, that's the thing that I wish I could tell every teenager in the world is that you start seeing things a heck of a lot different.
Yeah.
You start understanding things a lot differently than you do at that younger age when you start getting older. And that's it's natural. But I mean, it's just that those, since then, I think our relationship really just took off, and we get along so well. I mean, especially from the days when he would steal my underwear.
I was not going to go there. I wasn't going to say, all right, fine. You want to go there? Fine.
We'll go there.
All right. So
yeah, but see, I go to complain to mom and dad for relief. I didn't get anything until he started taking his underwear. That's when
right.
Fair.
That's right. All right. So what he's referring to, Stacy, I've always had a problem with my undergarments.
Okay. This ought to be good.
For about 35 years. Really, so, okay. All of you that have asked about a deep, dark secret about Mike, there are a few, but you'll get this one, all right? I wore 2 pairs of underwear for 35 years.
What? How?
Yes. So, how can I say this? This is somewhat family oriented. Okay, so I would wear bikini briefs. The bikini briefs. Yes.
Wow.
As a young adult, that's what I was. Mom bought Jay and I tighty whities like Walter White on Breaking Bad. Okay.
Sure.
That was Fruit of the Looms, tighty whities. Okay. That was what we had. Now, I'm 5 years older than Jay. The underwear my mother was buying me was too baggy.
Got it.
And things would rub and not be good, okay?
More support.
More support. My boys need a home. Now, I was out of the house at around 20, 21 years old, and I began saying, I kind of like the support of a bikini brief, but my inner thighs are rubbing together, and that's not good. We're going deeper, people, okay? So,
wow.
You asked for it, you got it. So I would wear a pair of boxer briefs on top of the bikini briefs. And I did that for nearly 30 years until I realized boxer briefs are where it's at. And now I'm happy as a jaybird.
Happy and well supported.
Yes. One of the things, there's a lot, but there's one thing I will say that I really have been not only impressed with, but I've tried to adapt it to myself when needed, is my sense of dress. My brother and my father are interwoven in the way they appreciate clothing. I don't. You've heard that old saying, the clothing makes the man. Bullshit. I don't believe that for a moment. Until I got a little older. And I would watch my brother and how he would conduct himself with me. And he was always wearing certain clothes, a t-shirt, pair of jeans, relaxed pair of shoes. If he would wear a blazer, maybe nice slacks, dress shoes, there was always this air of older confidence about him.
Okay.
And I thought, as I got older, I didn't understand that back in the day. I'm a t-shirt and jeans guy. I have no style whatsoever. So as I got older and events started unfolding in my life, I started reflecting on what my brother would wear. I started studying him. Wouldn't ask him about it, but I would say, he did this, this, and that. I think I would do that. My brother used to have this Irish brown tweed blazer that he used to wear. You may even still have it, Jay.
Yeah.
I remember when Sly, and since this is the Rocky Files, we're going to slide into the Rocky Files next. I remember during Rocky Balboa, Sly's hat is an Irish brown tweed. And I'm going to send you a picture right now so you can see it.
Sure.
And this is a material that older gentlemen would wear because it's more refined, it's more dignified. And I put it all together. And I thought, my God, my brother gets the idea of class and dignity far beyond what I got. I always saw myself as a 15-year-old walking around in sneakers. Jay saw himself as an accomplished adult walking around in shoes. And I thought, boy, there is something there. There is something I could learn a great deal from. So that's my one takeaway. I have a lot of takeaways from Jay, and we'll get into woodworking in a few moments.
Wait till you see.
Oh my God. When do you guys see this? Seriously. You know, enough about the clothes. Let's talk about the MANN Center. I mean, this is the Rocky Files after all. So let's talk about that. Jay, I think you were kind of hanging out in the green room and you kind of heard what Stacy and I were talking about the MANN Center. The whole reason you're on today, I thought, was for the MANN Center when I originally asked you the other day. And I thought, boy, my brother had like a ringside seat. What did you think about all that was going on?
Well, you covered it really well. You know, when you were in the green room and you were texting, I think you sent it to the group. Yeah. Maybe you just sent it to me that I'm just in the green room hanging out. And I said, well, we can't wait for you because there's all about 12 people here. And
there's nobody there.
Nobody there yet. And so we got there pretty early. We had lunch in the city, me, Sue, and Deb. And we wanted to, we knew we were going to get traffic going up to the MANN Center. It was like a good half hour, 45 minutes away. And without traffic, it was probably 20 minutes. Yeah. But so we get there and we get a nice parking spot. And, you know, we're not a lot of cars are there yet in the parking lot. And so that
you got to be thinking, oh my God, my brother's gonna bomb tonight. Right, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So about a half hour goes by, and that's when we were texting each other, and I'm like, it's still just Fender people and MANN people, and that's it. And maybe a handful. And I'm like, oh man. But then
that's right.
The buses start pulling up. And then
the
crowd started coming. Yeah. That was cool. And so I made my way down to where we saw in that picture the gates, the main entrance gates. Yeah. And that's where Mike was doing his work, really. And it's such a thrill to see him. But what's even more thrilling is when at least one person said, I was 10 feet away from her when she said, "Is that him?" Oh. Is that as if to say it was Sly? And and I think she actually did get a picture. It was her and her daughter, and she got a picture with Mike.
Oh, good.
But yeah, so and I think I took some video of that too. But so that, going back to what Mike was saying, it really is exciting. Especially, I haven't seen him do his gigs in a long time, and the first one was in Philadelphia as well. I was there at a conference, and I was there with my coworker. And my coworker John, he's a little zany. We were going to dinner to the Irish pub where Rocky Balboa was filmed in Rittenhouse, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Now, is that still there?
It's still there, but it's closed. It closed during COVID, unfortunately. But the it's just boards are up around the windows, but the building is still there.
Great Irish pub. It was when it was open, and so we're on our way there to grab some dinner because the three of us were going to eat together. And you know, John was saying he'd yell across to be an outdoor bar, and he'd say, "Hey, everybody, Rocky's here! Hey, everybody,
Rocky's here!"
Well, that became every family dinner we ever got to. We always say, "Hey, everybody, Rocky's here!" That was so.
That's great.
That and then we'd also play the "I'm Your Older Brother's" audio from We'd always do those two things. But anyway, so I always enjoyed seeing Mike, and I think that time in Philly was your first your first
one.
official gig. Yeah.
First one. Yep.
Yeah. And so that was crazy, and I just happened to be there. So going back to the MANN Center, it worked out with our schedules, and I was able to see Mike do his stuff. And boy, let me tell you, he does it well.
Yeah.
He does it well. He has a way of disarming people, like for the shy types, you know.
Yeah.
And you guys touched on that before, that how Deb would encourage people to get a picture with Mike, and I was flabbergasted at how the crowd was on fire. They were electrified. Because they're going through all the motions, they're getting their bags checked. They come in and there's Mike all dressed up with the hat and the leather coat. And it's such the people just they just instantly smile. Big smile. And it's like a relief. You see the relief on their face because you know most of them were from around town. And and that's the other thing, just being there in the hometown where the movie took place was amazing. It contributed to such an awesome night.
It's like magic, Jay. Isn't it magic when the crowd is reacting at the same time and we're watching it and the symphony is playing? Magic.
Yeah.
So I underestimated the symphony. It was an amazing experience. At one point, there's a lot of quiet moments in Rocky where there's just violins playing, really just background music.
Yeah.
And because the orchestra was so synchronized, if you weren't looking at them playing, you didn't realize it.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, they even sounded slightly better because the audio from the film, the acoustics or the audio, it was a little echoey. And I found myself at times I had to just listen a little more closely.
Right.
Did you notice that, Mike?
I did. Yep, I did.
Yeah.
I think that was because of the amphitheater and the size and the openness. Like in a movie, if it was playing in a regular movie theater, I don't think we would have had that. But where it was designed for an orchestra to enhance it.
Yeah, it's definitely designed for an orchestra. So Deb was sitting next to me, and she, during one of those quiet moments where you would just be the violin in the background. And by the way, had to be at least 24 violins on the stage.
I know.
And and so all of a sudden you'd see them all in synchronicity.
Synchrony. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That was really cool to see. So yeah, those were now the crowd reacting. I knew the crowd was going to react, but I didn't think they'd react that much. And when they do, boy, the tears just start flowing down because all the memories come back.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
they sure did.
Because
I cried.
You know, that's the way it was. We were brought up in Rocky Land. You know.
Yeah.
We didn't really have much choice. But like I always joke and I'd say, you know, we live on a main street here. And every now and then there'd be construction crews going out there and they'd be with their jackhammers. Mike would go and ask to borrow the jackhammer and bring it in the house and hammer our heads with Rocky stuff. That's all that's what I was raised on, Rocky and Rambo. You know,
right.
That's what, if the viewers want to know what it was like as a kid, that's it. What I thought was really interesting, especially nowadays, was the scene in Rocky's apartment where he asked Adrian to stay. Everybody just started laughing.
Yeah.
Because it's just not, you don't do that anymore.
You don't do that. Right.
And you do, if you do, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah. You're going to be like Russell Brand. You're going to be, you're going to be brought up on charges quick.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Right.
Jay, what is it about Rocky that you appreciate?
Exercise.
Okay. Yeah, you're very into exercise, very much so.
Right. Try to stay as healthy as I can. And I say that because half the time when I'm at the gym, I don't even want to be there. And I'd rather be down in the shop playing with all the tools and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
But I will use any motivation I possibly can. And Rocky is at the forethought of in my head. That's what I use for inspiration. That's what I use for motivation. And gets me going.
I don't think I've ever asked you this. I don't think I ever asked you. What's your favorite Rocky?
You know, like I said, it's a very emotional experience for me to watch any of them.
Yeah.
You know, when I was down at Penn State, you know, a Saturday night, there was this local bar that I went to just to hang out. I always go by myself because I'm introverted. So it'd be a Stallone weekend, right? And on the TV, on the TBS or one of them.
Nice.
And instantly just I'd watch it all evening, and I wouldn't talk to anybody at the bar because that's the impact Rocky and Stallone, no matter what the movie is. And sometimes I do a double take and say, wait, no, that's not Mike. That's Sly. You know,
nice.
The brain just, and that was a while ago. But anyway, going back to the Rocky, you know, Rocky III stands out only because that's when I started to understand. Rocky III was 83, right?
Yeah.
So
82.
Yeah.
82.
So I was 10, and I started to understand more. Not everything, but as more concepts I started understanding as I was getting.
You had a little more life under your belt.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
And I mean, there's still lines from Rocky III that I use, and my favorite is "Friends don't owe. They do because they want to do it."
Love.
And that's something that whenever we pay for our friends, you know, or something.
Yep.
We'll pay it back. And I said, "Friends don't owe."
Great. That's it.
Love that.
I remember in May of 82 when Rocky III came out, you, me, and Dad went to the Ritz. We sat there crying like idiots when Mickey died. We're sniffling and crying. It was amazing. Yes, never forget that.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. All right, listen, let's move on. All right, so from Rocky to The Pretender. Since you have the Pretender poster in back of you, which I'm so proud of, thank you. Thoughts on The Pretender, Toscano, initially during filming, and then seeing it at the Ritz in our hometown in front of people we know. What's your thoughts on The Pretender, Jay?
Oh boy, it was really quite a journey. You know, it took a while. And you know, Jimmy's up there in Michigan, so and you know, us over here in Pennsylvania, that alone is difficult with the distance.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were scenes that were filmed. I think the scene I was in was we filmed it at the Victor's.
Yeah.
Upstairs. And it took, you know, I think it was years after that finally the film finally came out. But one of my greatest memories, and you guys have probably talked about this before. You probably even I know you've seen the pictures. But the dinner, the big dinner we had over at Mom and Dad's.
Oh, that was great.
Jimmy was filming Mom making the sauce, and and we were up late that night because it was after dinner. Probably should have did it before dinner once the wine starts flowing. But
it was 3 o'clock in the morning when we wrapped, Jay.
It was late. It was late. And you know, you mentioned Lynn earlier, Lynn and Gibb. But we were behind the scenes. It was me, Deb, Mom, Lynn, and Gib, and Jimmy was trying to film. And I'm starting to crack jokes, and
we
Dad's
all were
getting into it. He's a ham. He's really into it. We're making fun of him, and Lynn has this laugh about her that is like a giggle, and it's really it's definitely unique, and we just had fun. And so Jimmy's looking back at us like, anytime you guys want to quiet down, feel free.
Exactly.
And we were getting tired, and it was running late, like Mike said. But,
hey, Jay, you're sitting in the Ritz, and you're with Debbie and Mom and Dad, and you're watching it on the big screen where we've seen other movies, including Rocky III, and you're sitting there. What is it like seeing our family up on the screen on a movie that none of us ever thought would happen?
Yeah, it was weird. It was really interesting because not only did we see ourselves, but the crowd, and it was a pretty good crowd, were reacting. And at some parts of when you're talking, like towards the end, when you were talking to Sly out on the street, they just erupted in applause, and I'm like, wow, they're doing that for Mike, like, because they're happy for him, and so that was, it's just like this moment, it's surreal, because like Mike said, we're just average everyday people in Scranton, PA here, like we're not used to seeing ourselves up on the screen, but so yeah, it was really something.
Wow.
Stacy, what are you thinking so far?
I love the support between you two. I love this so much. I won't get into some of our family issues, but it is refreshing to see a family that is tight and brothers that are tight, because not every family has that. So,
and we are.
Yeah.
We really are.
Yeah, that is.
Well,
that's awesome.
and when you say that, Stacy, it's something, because when Mike and I would fight about our underwear or whatever else, we would really get into it.
Yeah.
And I can remember my parents saying, someday you guys are going to have to get along.
Right.
And that seems so foreign. 40 years down the road. Yeah. As a 9-year-old, you can't really understand. And then you get it. And
you do.
And thankfully, Mom and Dad have always been, they've always nurtured that role for us. They made sure that we weren't going to be at odds. So we're very, very lucky. Right.
So we ought to think about it. And I'm not going to go too deep into this, because I know a lot of people watching can probably assume that themselves. But it all starts with the parents. It really does. Jay and I know an awful lot of people that either had almost good parents or parents with good intentions but didn't work out. But I can tell you, our mother and father, they had the most purest intentions of raising the best, simplest family they could do by their means. And if you don't have that, if you don't have parents that just have the children's best interest at heart, and some parents don't, it sounds archaic, it's odd, it sounds like, what do you mean? But there are parents who don't have that, then those kids are just screwed right in the beginning. But our parents always found a way for us to kind of nurture, like Jay said, and bring together. That being said, in an apocalyptic world where there is no regulation, no sense, no one's going to want a Rocky impersonator or a tour guide. What they are going to want is a carpenter. They're going to want a person with woodworking skills to build houses. This is something, and I know we're going to go a little long with this podcast, but there's a lot to chew on to here. And I want to really get into my brother's woodworking and the skill he developed. Stacy, what's your thoughts on a real man that can work tools, drills, and electricity. That's isn't it?
We're losing the generation that knows how to do anything like that. It's when he sent me, and you sent me a bunch of pictures, and all these things we're about to show. I'm like, oh my God, those are skills. It's so nice to have a young person. It's usually like some, it's our father's skills, you know what I mean? And our grandfathers. It's so nice to have a young person that really loves this. So I'm going to let you lead, but I have the pictures ready. It's beautiful work, really.
Jay, before we're going to throw up a bunch of your pictures from your woodworking skills. What is it about wood that attracted you? How'd you get into this?
Well, it started in high school, really. I took shop classes, and I knew I wanted to be around making things with tools. I loved having my hands on them, and the teacher would give us these tests, and I'd always score the highest, only because I understood. And usually the tests were about the parts of the tools, power tools. And it was always in the spirit of safety, so you'd know what each part does. And I just got it like this. And some of my classmates, they didn't do so well with that. And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's just so easy for me. It just came natural,
Yeah, totally.
And then probably in my 20s and 30s, I got away from it. I started just enjoying really just life in general and work and whatnot. But then I started coming back to woodworking, and I really started getting back into it. My probably mid 30s, my former coworker of mine, Bernie, we would go to this wood show every year in New Jersey, and it's just a floor of nothing but all the latest and greatest tools, vendors that are actually cutting wood. As soon as you go in and give your ticket, you hear some saw on wood, and guys walking around with beers and stuff, So, I mean, it's a wild scene. And you can get parts, and you can get trinkets for your shop there, little things like that. And I just fell in love with it all over again. And then in our early 40s, we in 2016, we bought our home that we're in now. It's our first home that we bought, and it just so happens it's right next door to my parents. And
Stacy, throw up a picture of the me, Dad, and Jay with sledgehammers hitting the walls and the 2x4s.
Now, Mike, I think you guys covered the one picture of me, you, and Dad at the wedding. The mob look.
We did. Where is it? I have it.
Okay, as long as you covered it, because that was a good one.
Oh man, that was one of my favorite pictures. The mob picture. That is like the ultimate photo for Italians to understand calling out a whack at a wedding. It's the best.
Right, and it was taken with a 35 millimeter, and maybe Mom took it, and she just got it at the right moment.
Perfect moment.
Yeah.
All right. So you're woodworking. You're not doing it for your health. You've actually started an online craft store with Debbie. Tell us about that.
Deb and I are working a lot. We're starting to work very closely with each other. You saw the stained glass in the pub here.
Beautiful.
She did the glass, I did the frames. And so that's really what's going on a lot now is and she has a there you go, there's the frames that and those we did those so we can swing those. They're on hinges, so they swing out, so if we have to clean the window or something, we can get in there pretty easily.
So nice. Beautiful.
But yeah, so as a matter of fact, Deb just hit me up yesterday. She's making a Christmas gift, and she wants me to do a frame for it for a certain family member that will go nameless. But
nice.
So and so that's really what we've been doing. And then she helps me a lot with epoxy because there's a picture that we just did. Well, that table where Deb was integral in getting the waves, like the white epoxy with she uses a hairdryer or a blowgun on the on the white epoxy around the rocks, and she's gotten really good at that. And so that's, you know, I depend on her with that. So it's been really a fun journey over the last couple of years. She has the Cricut, and she could come up with some great designs, and I back. We back each other up. So,
and you guys can do anything. You guys can do coasters, picture frames. I mean, you guys can do a variety of. Stacy, as a matter of fact, why don't you throw up some of the projects he's been working on?
All right, let's see. Here's just a couple of you two.
There you are, working hand in hand.
Yeah. Which I love.
Now here's an interesting thing. So this picture, here's Jay working on a table. My father has some end tables in the house, and he needed one more. So my brother basically mimicked the table that's already there, and here he is building it. Wait till you see the end result.
That is amazing.
That look at the inlay, the dark brown circle. I mean, this is something that you would pay $400, $500, $600 for a table. Look at that thing. It's amazing. It's
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Oh yeah, we needed something for above our bed. So it was just a blank wall. And that wall is kind of long. I think the room is wider than it is longer, but so Deb said, well, why don't you come up with do something like this on the machine? And it's called a CNC machine. It stands for computer numerical control. Right. And there you go, CNC life. That really is true, because it's the thing about the CNC machine is you either have a good project or a bad project. And when I say a bad project, there's so many things that can go wrong, like the bit slipping from the tool and it carves into the design and you're screwed. You know, it just happened today, but it happened in a spot where no one's going to see it. It's going to be covered. But I noticed some chatter. The bit was not sounding right, and before I could even hit the stop button, the bit got loose. It dove into the material, and now there's a big gap. So that happened a lot.
That's painful.
But it's basically a machine that you tell the design you tell the computer the design, and you come up with the design in your mind. You put it on the digital file, and you tell the file to tell the machine to carve it, and it carves it.
Wow.
So no matter what it is. So it's fun.
Wow. Here's some more.
Look at that. Now, I love that for a family crest.
That was pretty cool. Now that we wanted for
Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah. Well, that's the plane. I modeled the plane on the I think I looked up the label on the tequila label that he has, Margaritaville tequila or something.
I love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love
and this is great.
So here, very quickly, I'm going to talk about this picture. So this is obviously Scranton, the Electric City. There's a big thing, St. Patrick's Day in Scranton. It's probably the most Irish city in America at that particular point. And for decades, we've been going to the St. Patrick's Day parade, and so now we have a thing at my brother's house at the pub. And so this picture, you have to be from Scranton to understand this picture. And Jay made that, and he gave it to me as a gift not too long ago. I have it hanging upstairs, and it's one of my favorite things. It's not up just during St. Patrick's Day; it's up year round.
Nice.
Well,
this is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's New York. Now that was a fun project because each one of those is a thin layer, probably about 1/8 of an inch thick of plywood. And I was able to carve. It took a while. There's a lot of detail in it, but that was fun. And then we stained it at each layer. I think there's 5 layers. Layered.
It's beautiful.
Right, you glue them together.
You get that 3D effect. It's awesome.
Look at that.
Now that's my favorite Oktoberfest beer, Paul Landner. And I thought, I was looking at the bottle cap, and I thought, I think I can make this. So let me try to make it. We put it in the pub.
Sure.
Now that's epoxy. Yeah, and that's all epoxy there.
This is a riot. My Hallmark Christmas movie watching.
So John, our friend John Rivoli will appreciate this because he's a big Christmas guy like myself. This is my Hallmark. Who'd you make this for, Jay?
Mom and Dad.
Yeah, you did.
Yep.
Look at
These are some coworkers, you know, that now that's Deb's work with the cricket.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Beautiful.
This is a Aaron and Joe asked us, this is when I first got the machine, and I was telling them how I could do epoxy inlays.
Yeah.
And Aaron said, well, how about this design here? And what that's a beer that they get out. They go out to Las Vegas, and it's a brewery that closed. But that El Jefe is it's a jalapeno beer. I really enjoy it.
Wow.
It's a really good beer. But that was the design. So we made that one.
Love this.
And there's Deb's work on the left. That's Pose. That's the sign pub there. That's her work.
I would
and
love
I did
that.
the inlay sign on the right.
I love
this. This is a riot.
Oh yeah. I got to get those back out. It's that time of year again.
It's that time of year.
Yeah.
I love that. Look at that. That's him down in his little shop there in the basement. I love that.
We made the grad sign. We had a graduation party for our niece and nephew, and Deb wanted to do the lit up marquee sign.
Nice.
Right. Here's a picture that Sue painted for Debbie. It's kind of a surrealist eye. Debbie's in the eye world.
Oh, nice.
Opticals. That's her job.
Oh, that's smart.
And Jay made the frame for that. So I always thought that was kind of cool.
That's cool. Yeah, that's what you guys sent us. That's beautiful work, very high quality. So you have a store? You're thinking about starting a store? What's the plan?
We do. And Deb, like I said, Deb has been doing most of the things. It's an Etsy store, and most
Etsy.
of the things that are on there right now are a lot of charcuterie boards with epoxy and the waves, the white waves, to look like the ocean or the Caribbean or something like this. So Deb's really into doing that, and so eventually we're going to get more of my inlay stuff on there, and we haven't sold anything yet, but we're getting there.
Oh, nice.
We'll put up links on how we can find you and how everyone else can find you, Jay. So I'm going to turn it over to Stacy for a second. Any last questions she has for you? But then I have 3 questions I want to ask you. And so, Stace, go ahead.
A quick question from Larry Brown. What was your favorite style of mics? Rambo, Carter, or Rocky? Which one's your favorite?
Well, I'd have to. Rambo, he really did a good Rambo with the hair. I mean, when he was talking about the hair
the
earlier,
perms and the hair.
Yeah, no, right. And now, but here's the one memory that stays out in my mind, and it was triggered on the MANN Center at the MANN Center, and when Mike was dressed up with the hat and the leather coat and the bouncing ball. I watched him do that when I was probably about 9 or 10 years old. I was in the kitchen with my parents. We might have been making dinner, and then my dad looks out the window and he says, "Oh, there he goes!" And he's walking down Main Street, and he's got that same exact look that he had at the MANN Center when he was greeting all those people 40 years later, and he had the bouncing ball, and he was in Rocky Land then, and he's still in Rocky Land now. So there's no doubt about it. Mike's Rocky character is the one that stands out the most.
Awesome.
All right, Jay. What's it like to be a Kunda?
What's it like to be a Kunda? I don't really think about it. I just keep going on throughout life. I don't know. I think there's a lot of times I'm very happy. I'm very proud of.
That's what I was getting to. Yeah, proud. You proud?
Yeah, because it's good family, and we all stick together, and we're able to work out any differences, and so that's the important part. And then when we have those parties and those get-togethers, and other family and friends come over, and we have one coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we do. Halloween, the big scary movie at your house, yeah.
We'll sit out in the driveway. Hopefully the weather will be good, but that's really what I'm proud of about being a Kunda. That there's none of this chaos going on.
All right, 2 quick questions, and then we're gonna let you get out of here. So, Rocky, well, you're going about your day. You're doing whatever it is that you're doing, woodworking, and something Eye to Tiger pops on the radio, and Rocky comes into your mind. What is the image in your mind? Is it Rocky 1, Rocky 3, Balboa, the Creeds? What's the image that pops into your mind when you hear Rocky, when you're not thinking about it?
It really is difficult for me to answer because I like them all. But, obviously the first one from the first movie is the one that always is. But then I go right to Rocky 2. I love the opening scenes in Rocky 2.
See, that's Sly's favorite, Rocky 2. How about that?
Yeah. And then I can slide right into 3 and 4. Like you're asking the wrong person,
It's tough.
All right, last question, and then you can get back to your day. You're in an elevator in New York City. You've got 30 seconds. Stallone's in the elevator. What do you say to him?
You want to go have a bourbon with me?
Nice.
But no, seriously, I would just offer to be his next stunt double in Rambo. Then that's all.
Yeah,
perfect.
Get me on set, brother.
Yeah, none of this thank you and all this happy stuff. Let's get right down to the
breast tag.
You can have a job.
Right.
Jay, I want to thank you so much for coming on and doing this. This has been great. I mean, we have covered an awful lot of ground.
Everything.
I love you and thank you, and I will see you in a few weeks. Stacy, anything from you?
All right, Deb, come on, say hi real quick.
Oh, come say hi.
Who's there?
Deb.
We've got Deb here. She just got in.
Oh, did she?
Hey.
Hi, Deb.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
Good.
All right, so we need you to get down and do 10 push-ups for us. Jay just did his.
Oh, okay. All right. Ready?
So, everybody, this is Debbie. Debbie, this is everybody. I'm so glad you got to be able to come in on the last part of the podcast. We got to get you on next. You're next. You and Sue together.
Oh, that'd be fun. That would be fun.
That'll be fun. All right, listen, I will let you guys go. Until we see you guys again, keep punching. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sweetheart. You guys. Love you guys.
Good, huh?
Love you guys. I mean,
know.
he was saying, oh, when we fought, there's no siblings that don't fight.
Yeah,
life,
of course.
But my God, I have to say there are parts of my family, they haven't talked to each other in decades, just grudge holders. And you can't be like that. And you guys are clearly not like that. And I love it.
Stacy, the one thing I will say about my family, there's a lot I can say, but one thing I'll say is that we are very firmly aligned in beliefs, visions, and so on. We are very, very, very firmly aligned. There's no separation there. And I'm glad because, the last couple of years in this country, families have been divided. And
yes, they have.
Yeah. That is not something you want, because at any moment you can get some news that changes the temperature of the family. And so that's why I'm so grateful and glad. So there you go.
He's a sweetheart and
he is.
Loves Rocky, loves Rambo, loves Stallone. I mean,
he's a good guy. He really is.
Yeah, perfect for all of it.
All right, listen. Let's get out of here. Before we do, Stacy, where can people find you?
I am at Had Me at Yo on Instagram, as well as the Rocky Files, and on Facebook at the Rocky Files Podcast. And Michael?
Well, you know what? Hey, got it right there. Cue the Rocky music. That's a little book I put together. It's not bad. If you like what Jay and I were talking about today, you'll see a whole lot more of that there. And you will see a little documentary about my life called The Pretender by the world famous Jimmy Toscano and his crew. So check it out where books and documentaries are sold and viewed. There you go. The Old Philly Film Tour on TikTok and the Old Philly Film Tour on Instagram. Stace, we're out of here.
Stace, we're taking a week off.
We are taking a week off. Yes, thank you. We're off next week, and then we will be back. Jack. Stace. Until then, keep punching, everybody.
Keep punching.
Bye.
Bye.